the housing prices have soared and the property values have gone up. Previously, they were uncollectible.
The Weekly Friedman, your source for the most essential information in the default industry, with your host, Adam Friedman.
Today on The Weekly Friedman, we're examining Connecticut's Public Act 2546, new legislation that imposes a hard 10-year statute of limitations on foreclosure actions and rewrites the rules on undischarged mortgages. Set to take effect on January 1st, 2026, the act reflects a growing national trend, the tightening of the window for lenders to act while offering greater finality to borrowers. But it also introduces significant compliance risks for servicers, especially those managing aging portfolios or relying on decade-old lien records. While first priority mortgages recorded before the effective date are mostly insulated, the long-term impact for institutional lenders can be profound. Joining me to break it all down is Guy Milone, our general counsel here at Friedman Bartolo. We'll walk through what this means for due diligence, lien enforcement, and the practical challenges of operating under compressed foreclosure timelines. Guy, thanks for joining me again. It's been a while.
Been a while. Happy to be here.
Why are bills like this created? Why would a legislature do this?
Well, this was driven by one of the constituents, actually, that contacted the senator because there was an old debt that they were unaware of was still existing, and it was transferred to a new lender who tried to collect on it. A lot of this comes out of the financial crisis of 2008, and a lot of these bad debts were written off, but some are hung around. Some are picked up by other lenders, and the lenders didn't notify the new borrowers. So you have a borrower out there who's unaware. It's usually a second. There's zombie mortgages is what they're referred to. It's a zombie bill, and that's what it's designed as, a consumer protection.
So we're looking at finality. That's the goal.
Finality, yes.
But this bill only impacts loans that originated in January of 2026 going forward.
It's prospective in its application. However, that will help with old loans that have not been satisfied, but are still existing. They can be invalidated now if it's the same mortgagor who's lived there for 10 uninterrupted years.
So the first part of this bill imposes a new statute of limitations.
10-year statute of limitations.
So it's 10 years from maturity or
Correct.
10 years from the last payment date. What is Section 2 covering?
So Section 2 is covering what's referred to as zombie mortgages, which is essentially debt that's bad debt or debt that's been forgotten or transferred. One of the results of zombie mortgages becoming more prevalent now is because the housing prices have soared and the property values have gone up. Previously, they were uncollectible, right? Where they were over leveraged, it wasn't going to work out. So now you have a new lender who looks at a property value, the property value is increased, and they send out a collection notice because they purchased this for pennies on the dollar. That's a zombie mortgage.
From a compliance perspective, what should lenders that have loans in Connecticut or originating in Connecticut, what should they be thinking as a result of this bill?
Two aspects of it. The first thing a lender has to do is get that loan history. How long has it been out there? Has there been no contact with the borrower? Because that's what they're looking for, right? The bill is addressing no one's contacted this borrower in 10 years, 12 years. And now why are you contacting them now to collect it? So that's the first thing. Loan history, how old is the debt? Second thing, is it a first or a second? Completely different treatment for a first mortgage and a second, right? It's not about firsts. It's about seconds and old debt. And the third thing is just be aware that a borrower has the power now to clear his title on a 10-year frame where it was a 20-year framework before.
When you first read it, the whole first section is really about SOL.
Yes.
And it seems like just a restating or a changing of the SOL. And the second part, it's quiet title, but it aligns very well with the new statute of limitations in the first part.
Yes.
So how did you figure out the stuff with the borrower complaining? Where did all that come from?
Right. I did some research in Connecticut legislation, and there were articles written on a senator who is showing how she protects her constituents from bad debt. And Connecticut was a little behind the rest of the country. They needed to catch up.
I'm reasonably good at reading these things, and I read through it, and to me, it's a new SOL bill. And I think that color really gives a good perspective. The reality is every piece of legislation is coming from somewhere, right? It's not just...
Yeah, correct. It's driven by someone. Yeah. And it was almost, I think it was 35-1 it passed.
All right, Guy. Well, I appreciate it. It's good to have you on here. And I think the color you just added there is really helpful. So I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining Guy Milone and I in The Weekly Friedman, your source to the most essential information in the default industry. Thanks for tuning in. Looking forward to seeing you next time.